throughout the country. After the press conference, co-CEO John Addison was invited to the NBC studios on Capitol Hill for a one-on-one interview that was distributed to every NBC affiliate in the nation. While drawing a tremendous amount of media attention to the financial plight of the middle class, the report's findings simply confirmed what Primerica representatives experience in Main Street households across our nation every single day.
This survey showed what we already know. People have too much debt, not enough savings, and no protection. But when you get to the bottom line of the survey, what it said is people think, despite all of their mistakes, that they know enough to be able to take care of it themselves. They don't want to seek advice. Well, we've known that forever. People aren't going to seek advice. You've got to find them and show them a better way to take control of their financial life. And that's what Primerica does every day across the kitchen table.
The financial challenges faced by middle-class families have been widely reported, especially their declining income over the last decade. These families' assets also declined.
The truth is families spend more time planning a vacation than their financial future. They stuff all the hard financial decisions in a drawer and just ignore it and hope it's going to get better.
Most were willing to acknowledge that in the past they had made at least one really bad financial decision. 2/3 said that they had, and they estimated that these bad decisions had cost them an average of $23,000.
Main Street middle-income families are too important to ignore. They're the backbone of our country. From these families come the leaders and innovators of our future. Only when we help them achieve security do we strengthen the American dream.
Note 5, a new report out today offers some insight into the financial health of middle-class Americans. It's from the Consumer Federation of America and financial service provider Primerica.
And what it shows is what a lot of you are feeling, that the middle class is losing ground.
2/3 of middle-class Americans who were surveyed say they've made some bad financial decisions. Experts also found out that Americans are not saving up for retirement, something they say needs to change.
The reality is, if you start saving for your retirement early, it makes all the difference.
A new study suggests the American middle class is not as well off as it was a decade ago. We found middle class households earn less money today than they did at the start of the last decade, and only slightly more than at the start of the 1990s.
The biggest impediment to getting financially independent is procrastination. The fact that people go, it's too complex, it's too hard, I'll just ignore it and hope it gets better.
This story is so big and it's so relevant to our society that, and Primerica has now brought that to the National Press Club and to the media and really taken the message to the media and to the public and to the streets in a very big venue and through all forms of media to really bring people's awareness that A, these problems exist, which they know, but more importantly, that there's an answer and they can do something about it and there is hope.
Almost all middle-income families, we believe, have the ability to improve their financial condition by making more sensible spending decisions, by borrowing less money, and by saving and investing more funds. And we at the Consumer Federation of America are trying to provide information and advice that help people to save, reduce debt. And we know that Primerica is also trying to do the same thing.
One of the things we want to do is increase the awareness of Primerica, both to the public and to the people that make policy decisions in Washington, D.C. Yeah, we were at the National Press Club this morning doing a press conference. Now we're in the NBC studio, just, did some filming with NBC. The thing we want to make sure happens now that Primerica is its own company. We're not a Wall Street company, we're a Main Street company. And we want to take that story to people so they understand that their lives may be a financial train wreck, but there's one company that'll tell them the truth and sell them the products they need to get financially independent, and that's Primerica.
So anyway, so you can see our market, and a little bit about our products. And you got to ask yourself a couple of questions here tonight. Is there a need for what we do? Yeah. Right? How about, are these financial concepts helpful for you and for me, right? If your family and friends implemented these concepts, would they be better off? Some of the things you're going to see tonight. tonight, and could you see yourself doing this? And really, it's not, I've been in this business like 20 years ago, and I met Chris 20 years ago. He looks just the same age as he did when I met him 20 years ago, right? When I met him, and when after I did this, you know, all my due diligence and checked him out and all this kind of stuff, even though I was completely broke and he was making tons of money, but I thought I needed to check him out because I was, you know, broke student with $65,000 of credit card debt, right? But after I checked him out and he was legit, and I got involved with him, I mean, till today, I mean, it's been a phenomenal ride. One of the things that impressed me about Chris is that he was showing us a system, and showing me is that this is very duplicatable, and and he didn't over-impress me. And so hopefully tonight nobody here over-impresses you. You go, well, these guys aren't that good. They've been doing it for 20 years. If I'd been doing it for 6 weeks, I'd be better than them. When Chris went and took me on an appointment, I go, he'd been in the business 9 years when I started. I go, I'll be as good as him shortly, right? I mean, I got this presentation down. But that's the magic of you'll see about Chris Howard here in a second, right? So what I'd like to do, without any further ado, is bring up our leader, and he has a little bit of stats about Chris. He has offices in Nevada, right, in Utah, Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, California, Washington, Texas, Hawaii. There's a new office that we just have in Hawaii also. But what we'd like to do is to see this organization have offices in all 50 states at some point in time. We have a guest here tonight, came here from the state of Virginia, I believe, right? So it's going to be great. But without any further ado, let's turn the time over to Chris Howard, Senior National Sales Director.